This video is about making a bowl using a process I call almost book matching. It cuts from the same board, but the images are not exact mirror images, but they're pretty close, as you can see. For this bowl, I'm going to use Zebrawood, both as the bottom and in large part for the feature ring. I am going to try to cut it on 45-degree angles in this pattern and try to make it book match. Before I started that, though, I picked a board of Zebrawood with as straight a grain as possible so that hopefully it would line up, because this piece and this piece are a closer match than the ones that are flipped around. So I'm going to try to cut and keep every other piece in one stack and every other piece in the other stack, and then we'll see what they look like on the bench when we're done. So this is the stack of 4, and this is the other stack of 4. I did cut one extra because I had the length in the board to do it. But these fit so well. And you can see that it looks like a nicely book matched set. And so does this one. I will disc sand them to get a good fit on all the joints and glue them together. Now that I have each of these halves disc sanded so I've got a good fit, I'm going to glue them together, then wait till tomorrow and I'll disc sand the faces to make sure they fit on the other one. I'm going to use this Titebond Quick and Thick. I've got it in this little glue bot because you don't have to use clamps, and I'll demonstrate. So these two halves, actually the lines line up better, offset a little bit, so I'm going to offset them, and then I'll disc sand off the edge that doesn't line up tomorrow. Okay, so I have glue on those two halves. Now I'm going to hold it where I want it to be lined up. Obviously do a little bit of rub joint, and then hold it for 15 to 20 seconds, and it's done after that. Okay, that one is together. I'm going to do the same process on the other 3. I'll leave that out of the video. Okay, time to disc sand. This was the one with the parts sticking out. I'm going to sand that off. So all I'm going to do is sand these two halves, and so they fit together well. Well, these turned out really nice. It's enough for, I'm going to use one for a second bowl that I'll make in the future, but really happy with the results. I will use the same process on the feature ring. So I'm following a similar process with the cutouts for the feature ring. The only difference is I set up a stop block because I have to make 48 of these cuts. I'm going for a 12 segment ring and I need 4 to make each one. So I set up a stop block so I'm cutting right through the point. every time, and I don't have to look and gauge it. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put the piece, every other piece into a pile. When I get 4, I'll take them into the 4 of each. I'll take them into the shop. I have the 48 pieces cut to make the feature ring, and now it's time to put them together and see if they came out as good as the other ring did. That looks pretty good. I'm not going to show it all. I'll come back when I get them all together. It all turned out really good. And I'll follow the same process I did with the bottom or the base of the bowl, where I disc sand, glue halves together, and then disc sand to put the whole cube together. Well, these are the squares for the feature ring, and I have the 12 of them laid out. I've already glued together the halves, and now it's just disc sanded, and it's just time to glue them up. I'm not really going to show the glue up, but I just wanted to show one thing. I did number these when I got them all laid out and happy with the final arrangement, partly so that I could keep them together, and partly so that I could identify which is the top. So the numbers are on the top. So what I didn't want to do is flip it around. It may be okay, and that's not bad, but that's better. So I wanted to just keep track of them. So that's all I wanted to show. So I have the 12 segments glued up, and I've laid them out. This is going to be my bottom, which will be my reference surface. So I am going to I'm going to trim every one of these pieces a little bit shorter, all the same. And this will be my reference surface. It's fairly flat. I've already disc sanded lightly all 4 sides, put them together, and I've lightly disc sanded the back because I need 2 good surfaces for the miter saw. I need a bottom and the back. The rest of it is all going to get trimmed. I am marking 1 1/16 from the center on each of these pieces, using my carpenter square from the bottom, which is my reference surface, drawing the line where I want to cut, and the only place it matters is right up here up top, because I'm going to line up on the top. So I'm drawing a 15-degree angle on top to line up my miter saw on, intersecting that point at the top. So that's the cut I'm going to make. This is the front, that's the back, so you want it to be smaller. So that is the line I'm going to use on the miter saw to line up to cut all the right edge on the bottoms. So I marked 1 block and cut this little stop block that just fit between it, so that can be used to set the rest of them. Just got to make sure it stays flat against the fence. And make sure it's the bottom, and the bottom is flush. So now it's a segment. I'll do that with the rest of them. So I went ahead and cut 1/4 inch strips of Wenge to go in between these. And there's going to be a ring of Wenge on top and bottom of the feature ring to try to frame it up. But it looks like it's going to go together and look nicely. So I'm going to check for fit. So that looks like a really good fit. So now that I have the feature ring diameter finalized, I tweaked the design and I'm going to cut wedges. So this will be a 24, the rest of the rings are 24 segment rings. Feature ring was 12, and then the 12 pieces of Wenge. So this will be the base ring, the ring that goes on the bottom, and the wedgie sled set for 24 segments. I'll just show cutting a few of them. So this was the first ring, and it was a really good fit. I went ahead and cut the next two rings, and they're also a good fit. They're ready for glue up. So basically the roll will go together like this. And then this will be cut in half, split, and the feature ring goes on top of that. Okay, I am going to flatten these rings with the latest addition to my shop, a drum sander. Time for the next ring. Time to add the feature ring. All right, I am going to try to round this out on the outside again, just to reduce wobble and then move inside. Final ring. Okay, so the inside is already turned, and I just need to finish the profile on the outside and wrap up the turning. I skipped the sanding and applying the finish on this one, but you can see it came out pretty good. Next step is 2 coats of carnauba wax, and then it's ready to cut off. Shined up real nice, and time to cut her off. That concludes this video. As it spins around, you can see all of the squares in the feature ring look almost as good as book matching. Hope you found this video useful.